correct winner and losers?
I'm not as convinced it's a hard win for Thunder. I like the Underlord a lot. It's a good hero against the Luna. The lane puts a lot of pressure on. I mean, the Pound talked a bit about losing 3 lanes potentially, but this Underlord Wind Ranger lane, Orb of Venom, Firestorm,
Get away from me, Paul.
a lot of harass. Whoa. You're not
Paul
safe
and Alan
anywhere.
just tried to jump into the casting studio, trying to attack us.
I mean, I want to hear a Paul and Alan cast. They can take over.
I've been calling for a Red Eye cast of Dota 2. Yo, somebody make a Reddit thread about it right now. We can make it a TI Compendium edition or something.
It's the Supermajor. We'll get some super cast.
Yeah. All right, so you're thinking you can still basically, if you're Final Tribe, you can get around this counter pick.
Yeah, you can play around it. To me, I think it's a tough game for them, but I don't think it's a massive outdraw.
It would help if they got the first blood, and Frost actually gets in front of Yang to be able to slow him down. They do hit him with the Crypt Swarm. It's going to be a close call. They do have one more Crypt Swarm coming in, but it looks like Yang has already healed up enough. Hanskin takes a lot of damage in return from that Jakiro, but no first blood just yet.
You can talk about it being a bad Slark game, but this is also a bad Luna game. The lane is going to be rough. The matchup against Slark is rough. The matchup against Underlord is rough. So I think both carries have a rough time this game.
Somebody needs to let Fade know that he can't get this Bounding Rune. He is taking so much damage now. They do have another Power Shot and another Firestorm if they really want to try for it. And they're not. Pablo's just going to try and get a little more harassment damage. Zyler does make the smart play, though. He actually goes in, takes the enemy Bounding Rune. In the end, it'll be Final Tribe only getting 3 out of the 4.
Massive damage coming out there, but it'll be interesting to see how these lanes unravel. It is the slightly unfavorable matchup for Death Prophet mid, but this seems like the lesser of two evils. None of the mid heroes they could have picked as like a counterpick to Bloodseeker really seem to fit their draft all too well, so I think they have the right idea. Just give the Death Prophet a slightly rougher lane. He shouldn't die 1v1 here unless somehow Bloodseeker gets a bunch of extra damage from these side lanes and just have her hold her own.
That is the really dangerous part about Bloodseeker right now with all these dual lanes, right? Is that there's so much damage being traded on both of the side lanes that it feels like you're never really secure in your fate as that mid laner. Like all of a sudden he's like, oh, hey, the Bloodseeker's running at 500 movement speed. Why? Why is that, team?
In the past, you'd like, as soon as you're like in pubs, if your Bloodseeker suddenly like solo kills you, you just look around, you see which teammates on 10% health, you see that off-laner 1v3 matchup, you start spam pinging him, like, why didn't you go back to Fountain? Nowadays, it is like you say, it's unavoidable. It's just gonna happen.
So our Death Prophet is gonna have to be a little bit careful of that. As you can see, the harassment's coming in from that bottom lane. Beastmaster Jakiro, that's a lot of spam. Hanskin is going to be a recipient of a lot of that. He's trying to soak up the damage just to let Frost get some basic CS. But as you said, the Luna's also going to be having the same kind of troubles.
I like Slark against this kind of lane. He's with the base HP regen buffs. He just seems a lot more sustainable. Sal Shields, Tango Salves, Mangos. This hero just doesn't really seem to get bullied out of lane pre-level 6 like he used to.
Healing South being forced in the mid lane for the Bloodseeker is currently 10-2 compared to the 9-0, and he does have a full creep wave coming into him, so you could see already quite the CS advantage. Now he's going to start forcing out something out of Era, forcing out one of those Spirit Siphon charges. But over to bottom lane, Hanskin quite low, 60 HP, turns around, tries to get more damage onto DEC. He knows he's giving up the first blood. He just wants to let Frost get
Era may get solo killed mid. Oh no, it's the disastrous
solo healing South.
Salve with a TP and the TP actually scared Freeze off because he probably could have chased at least to cancel the salve, but did not want to overcommit.
He's already in a winning lane, right? It feels like if you dive, you risk throwing away the lane advantage that you've already got, right?
And it was a pretty tough position for Era. Using that level 1 Spirit Siphon, it's a 60-second recharge time, and then you don't have that second one when you hit level 2 Spirit Siphon. So using it when it's level 1 can be really rough for you in lane.
Nuke out. Not going to land onto Era, but Freeze will heal himself up pretty high. The only lane that's really going well for Final Tribe is this top one where you can see the Luna is being pushed back constantly. Hanskin being chased out by DDC right now. Has to save himself with the kinetic field.
Bottom lane seems to be going fine.
Freeze. He saw the low HP hero. He's going to come in and collect that bounty.
Yeah. Bloodseeker having a great time. Few denies mixed in with a lot of CS and some heavy early pressure here. Just have to salve up again, so putting a bit of his money into health regen, but for now, things looking very good for him in the mid lane. Same time, Era's kind of good on what he looked for. He knew it's going to be an unfavorable matchup. He's got 16 CS, he hasn't died, double Mel Talisman. He's just trying to stay alive as much as possible.
It really is the dream pickup for the Bloodseeker, right? Because he not only one-to-one counters the Slark, but he also already knew his mid lane matchup and knew it's a lane that he can actually win, right? We were trying to craft a scenario where there was like some of those other mid laners who could do okay against Bloodseeker, like the SF could somehow fit into the lineup, which is not the case. Fade, he's gonna die here. Pablo dives behind the tier 1 tower, and finally this top lane will manage to get some kills, but oh, Freeze coming in. He actually doesn't need level 6 or 7 to make rotations like this. All he needs is the movement speed of low HP heroes. Pablo actually pops a win run, TP's out. The stun hole.
That's with a rotation from Bloodseeker. You make that rotation, it better be to get a kill. Does have a haste rune, so he'll get back a little bit faster, but that is some wasted time for him, and Death Prophet definitely smiling when you get even just 30 seconds of alone time in the mid lane.
Frost. He may be able to use Dark Pact to get rid of the dual breath, but it still leaves him quite low HP. And again, that is to the benefit of Freeze in the mid lane. The Wind Ranger is going to kind of sit behind Era now. We do have that level 6 finally up for the Bloodseekers, so time to try and protect whatever core is going to be gone on with the Rupture.
Yeah, Bloodseeker second point in Blood Rage. Not sure that's the build. Mostly I've been seeing like a 1-1-3 build, but wanting a bit more health regen and damage increase. Doesn't really feel like he's able to get too many kills alone in this mid lane. I mean, anything that's going to happen is probably going to happen with the rotation, and that's where maybe the damage amp is going to be nice from the Blood Rage.
Yang. Jakiro left him alone, and he's in big trouble. Frost is going to be able to pick up that kill pretty easily. Looks like he just rotated out to be able to pick up some of those bounty runes.
Frost is having a great time. He's being up against a high-pressure dual lane that he's managed to farm very well against. Now he's gotten a second kill in the lane. He's off to a good pace.
Good rotation from the Naga Siren just to make sure that with the combination of the Rupture, they will be able to get that kill. Now, Freeze is going to drop really low here. He's trying to pick up CS to heal himself up, and he's doing it successfully. Hanskin won't have the damage to be able to bring him down. He gets a nice little chunk out of killing that Siege Wagon as well. He could just stay out in lane. Meanwhile, bottom, Frost, the axes aren't quite enough. He'll heal himself up, and his level 6 is coming in soon. Yeah,
I like that Frost has brought extra regen, the extra Tango salves. You need these when you're up against a Bloodseeker, so making sure they minimize the damage that this Bloodseeker can do. But this Bloodseeker's on the move once again. Very active early game for Freeze.
A full rotation of 4 heroes up to the top lane to catch Yono some fun. It's such a nice little combination. You've got the Ensnare for the Rupture to stop some TPs, but you've also got the Ensnare to be able to set up the Bloodright, guarantee the nice nuke and silence.
And he needs to make these moves, because this game is not about the Bloodseeker going off and carrying the game. It is about the Luna. Luna's got a tough matchup against some of these cores on the other side. Already having a tough laning stage. Freeze needs to be the one rotating in, particularly rotating towards that Luna's lane so that they can get him a good game.
Wind Ranger wrapping around behind, but Era already has the Rupture on him, and in fact it's going to be VGJ Thunder who's going to go for the dive here. Exorcism is out, but you could tell his HP pool is just going to get overwhelmed so quickly. Pablo's going to run into the waiting arms of Yang. Actually doesn't get hit by the axes. The healing style stays alive. They will be able to get the ensnare. The TP out. It's going to be a close call, but the Ice Path is there in time to be able to stop him. So VGJ Thunder just continuing to outmaneuver the final tribe. They're trying to play a relatively fast game, which is something that's kind of surprising to me from VGJ Thunder.
Yeah, Era's just melting there. He got 2 Spirit Ciphers off, but still just looked like paper against this Bloodseeker with the damage amp from Blood Rage, the rotation coming in, the minus armor from Riptide. There's so much damage amp for a Bloodseeker who can right-click very hard. Death Prophet gets heavily punished for it, so difficult for Final Tribe to play around that. They don't really have a save. Their support duo of Disruptor, Wind Ranger, they can come in and try and make some plays, dish out some damage, but they're never going to be able to sit behind a hero like Death Prophet and keep her alive. Often a hero that you want to be pairing up with at least some kind of disable or save, like the Tusk was a common combo. Even just something like a Sand King where you're going to be able to disable them. Wind Ranger has got level 1 Shackle Shot, but it's pretty unreliable.
We're going to see Era. He needs some sort of recovery, especially as you're saying, if you don't have that kind of saving mechanism, then you need a Death Prophet who's ahead. And right now he's suffering from being in that mid lane. Freeze is up at the top lane right now, trying to set up for another Rupture. Yonosamfan does have a TP, and Sylar gets locked down. Really good save from Pablo with that shackle shot.
Yeah, stopping the Lucent Beep TP cancel, so they'll get him out of there, and Pablo able to take the experience and farm in lane while he's gone. So TFT just rotating things up, giving Slark the more difficult lane in mid. Bloodseeker can't really gank him all too easily with the Rupture because you can always just ulti TP out unless there's like something like a Jakiro there to Ice Path cancel it.
Yeah. It is such a hard situation because for this Death Prophet, you have a Slark and an Underlord. Neither one of those heroes is going to change the game up for you, and they're going to go on the Death Prophet again. On Primal Roar to lead things out, they're going to be able to send Fade back with the Glimpse of to get the Ensnare out first, and the nuke of the Axis is going to be enough. But Frost TP'd in. He's going to go for the kill on Yang first, see if he can get a little bit more. No, he's feeling like he's too low HP. In fact, Hanskin barely dodged that dual breath. If it actually hit him, they might have been able to run him down. As you can see, Freeze is already making that maneuver over to the bottom lane.
Radiant's middle tower is
Death Prophet continues to have a pretty rough time. 3 deaths on Era now. While Slark is doing well, this is the hero that's somewhat counterpicked by the draft, so you're going to be a little bit concerned.
Frost, oh, he already used his pounce. I think maybe he had an option there. He could have turned and maybe pounced into the trees or something, hope for the best, but not the case, and it's just a Slark versus a Bloodseeker. The moment you get that Rupture on you, it becomes a very difficult game.
Clips coming out.
Going out, easy pickup on the Wind Ranger on the 10-minute bounty runes.
All 4 VGJ Thunder members getting very active, trying to actively create space for this Luna. And hey, Luna with the Observer Ward finds a solo kill, so all of a sudden Sylar's in a much better spot than he was in the laning stage, because that was looking pretty rough for him given that the pressure was so much from that dual lane up top.
Do you think this is, like, I'm feeling like this is this much movement, this much aggression, mid lane? Trying to slow down, pull back Yang. He does manage to turn around, get out the Primal Roar. The Static Storm is out, stop the Jagiro from getting off any immediate spells, but he walks out of it and now gets some damage onto Era, who won't be able to out-heal it with the Spirit Siphon. And Ensnare, jump in, coming in for Frost. He's going to be able to blow up the Luna real quickly with his nukes, and DDC, who is already low, he'll be the next victim for Frost as he picks up the double kill. But look out for Freeze, he's super fast. Frost, he needs to be able to pounce into the high ground, but he's not going to be able to have it up in time. He's just too low, and Freeze will collect his head once again. The Bloodseeker is just a monster all over the map. You think you're winning that fight, but everyone's so low and the Bloodseeker just comes in.
Man, Bloodseeker is just on a warpath. He's been in all 3 lanes, setting up kills and getting involved in the action. 5-0 and 2, just 11 minutes in. And VGJ Thunder just don't have the kind of heroes who can match his pace. Yonosamfan, Underlord, a hero that wants to kind of just push out lanes, play a bit more passively, more farm-intensive. Death Prophet kind of can like team fight every now and then with the Nexus, but for the most part is not going to be able to have the same kind of uptime as the Bloodseeker.
Yeah. That's why, like, we were talking about potential last picks, and we were trying to craft all kinds of scenarios. Maybe we could switch up a last pick mid, or pick up a different support like the Tusk, or, and we were talking about offlaners, and I was hoping for something really active, you know, something that actually could help out the Death Prophet in this critical timing, not give this Bloodseeker such a free game. But Final Tribe are going to play to try and outmaneuver VGJ Thunder, get these lanes pushed in, just try and draw out the game, basically weather through this storm that is going to be a rough 15 to 25 minute period, as VGJ Thunder already quite the lead up here. Going to be able to catch Rupture onto Frost, and he's separated from the Underlord as well. They could have just made some sort of Dark Rift play together, but he can't get there in time to save his carry. So it's only Yonosamfan who gets away. Pablo also quite low.
Yeah, I should have just maybe ultied next to the Underlord and hope for the escape, but...
So what, that was Static Storm, and so that was just a Disruptor and Wind Ranger running in and killing a Luna, huh?
Oh,
well
I didn't even realize Luna died. Okay, that's a handy kill. Definitely, you look at this Bloodseeker with a Blade Mail who's well on top of the net worth, 6-0. This is a hero that is going to start to slip off a little bit. This Blade Mail build is not that like scaling late game build. You kill him once, he's suddenly going to give up a lot of gold for this streak. So keep this Luna down as well. I think you're feeling like this game is still achievable for the Final Tribe. Big problem is that it's really just the Slarks had this good early game start, but he is going to be severely countered by a Bloodseeker, and you need your Death Prophet to get more in the way of farm and item.
He's trying to pick up a Shadow Blade, an early item pick that does allow the Slark to finally come online a little bit. He can have some impact in this game. In fact, I think from the initial Slarks that we saw to great success. They were very active in that 20-minute marker. He's looking to repeat that success. Yonosafan's going to be gone on here. Nice shackle shot, but looks like Yonosafan is still very dead. The rupture, macro pyre on top of him just to bring down the big boy.
Yeah. You ult your way once, well, guess what? We're back 30 seconds later, and we have got rupture again. This low cooldown rupture is proven to be very problematic. It feels like we've seen already 5 ruptures or so this game.
Oh, leading off with a sleep,
glimpse.
but a glimpse back. Hanskin in a great position.
Can they get this tower? Can they get a deny?
Jackal shot doesn't latch. That would have been close. If Freeze had gotten latched to the creep wave, he could have died there.
Big chunk of important gold being denied away from Final Tribe, who do not get the last hit, though. Tested tower is definitely worth it for VGJ Thunder.
Yeah, it was very good from Siler. The one concern, VGJ Thunder, they seem to be controlling the map pretty well. They're just running around, killing heroes nonstop, but because the Luna faring so poorly early on, they're not actually able to turn these kills into objectives just yet. Now, hopefully Siler does recover, and we're already seeing it. He's actually second on the network chart despite his earlier death from the Disruptor Wind Ranger.
Fight brewing here.
Focus fire. Pablo does have that javelin, so the damage is going to be pretty immense, and glimpse back to ensure the kill. Meanwhile, though, top lane, Yonosafan, they're going to catch him out as well. These teams are just trading out kills non-stop, it seems.
Yeah, Freeze gets pretty low for that one. Didn't get the heal off, but hey, earn charges are there. Wasn't any available response. Pablo with a javelin already. His damage output is definitely something not to be scoffed at. Guy loves buying his javelins, and the fast Maelstrom, this hero in a full position role can dish out some good damage.
Yeah, it all goes back to that one rotation that they made and killing that Luna. He was the one who got the bounty for it, and that was pretty much all the gold he needed to be able to get that javelin. But this Luna is still getting ahead. They had ancient stacks ready to go. Siler with the Mask of Madness and the maxed out Mood Glaives. It just makes for such an efficient farming beast. And Final Tribe, without the Shadow Blade, they're not ready to make invasions just yet.
Yeah. Love to see them get active the second that's picked up, which is about to happen. Ideally find this Bloodseeker who's got this big 7-kill streak. Yes, Bloodseeker's counter Slark, but if Slark's the one jumping him, well, you've got a Slark on a melee hero who's not going to be able to offer much defensively on a Slark who's just jumped on him. The Blade Mail's nice, but with like 1 or 2 extra heroes backing up the Slark, that Bloodseeker will melt very quickly.
Ooh, Roar ends up being used in the bottom lane on a Wind Ranger Illusion.
Oopsie daisy. And Freeze actually already has a Fuel Scepter. His farm is insane right now.
Oh, Bloodseeker TPE just as Final Tribe were trying to make this go. Now Frost with a Rupture on top of him. They don't have any sort of saving mechanism. He's right on top of the Blood Right. They'll throw the Macro Pyre in as well, and the Axes to be able to clean him up. Now Pablo has the Focus Fire on Yang, managed to chase him away with the Bloodseeker using these low HP heroes. He's going to chase down the Death Prop and looks for more. Hanskin trying to go for the TP up, but with the Yule Scepter, he'll be able to stop that nice and quick. Godlike spree for Freeze already 17 minutes in.
Freeze is just playing on another level compared to what we saw him in the group stages. He is on fire. 9-0 already. They make a bit of a bold move, going up that hill to the shrine without vision. Also, Slark did not have his Shadow Blade yet. It was coming on the Curry. If you can scout with the Shadow Blade, maybe you do it, because you know if there's a sentry there that sees you coming in with your ultimate. And if you get detected, you back off. You don't have to scout any further, but just trying to walk up blind, that was a very bold move from Frost, and it did not pay off at all.
And with such a immensely good team fight, they will take an objective. That mid-tier 1 tower does end up going down. And we're going to see maybe a very rampant Shadow Blade for Yang after that great team fight.
I like this item. You want to have some additional pick-off. I think much better than the Bloodseeker getting Shadow Blade, which we saw, I believe, from Secret in one of their games. Just seems like the Beastmaster is a much more natural initiator who's going to benefit a lot more from the item. And this gives them a much cleaner way to start off fights, since they line up their 3 cores. They're all pretty good at it, but Beastmaster definitely the one hero you want to be leading these pickoffs.
Slark already countered by the Bloodseeker. He's going to be feeling even worse about his farming time if there's a potential Beastmaster wherever he goes. Another smoke up from Final Tribe, attempting to go to the same high ground area, but this time they're the ones who hold the high ground. They're going to go for the Jig Hero first, who went up to the high ground into them. It's an easy pick off there, but the rest of the fight's coming in from behind, where Yang managed to get up a ward, but no axes thanks to the Static Storm. Ares being protected by that Static Storm until Freeze comes in with a Blade Mail, activated with the clicks next to it, but maybe it's not enough. The buyback's coming in, the activation of the Shrine, and that's surely going to be enough for VGJ Thunder to roll over the rest of Final Tribe. TFT just trying to get these TPs out, but it's not going to happen. Freeze stops another TP out with a Yule Scepter. What a great item choice, and is paying off big dividends as he gets the Beyond Godlike spree.
11 kill streak. And wants to make sure he doesn't go down at this point, but he is setting his team up for success this game. They bring down the Luna very nicely with the Slark, but VGJ Thunder fighting underneath the Shrine, able to get maximum use out of a buyback there. Yang comes back in after kind of diving in and feeding, but it doesn't really matter when you have that easy access to the Shrine. And while the gold gain doesn't heavily favor Thunder because of the buyback, definitely keeping the Bloodseeker on top and continuing to kill this Slark. This is the one here you really want to have kind of snowballing and at least keeping up with the Bloodseeker and the Luna because you're not a flash farmer. At no point does like Slark Death Prophet catch up in farm to Luna unless they're winning fights. So Final Tribe are going to be forced to just keep on taking these clashes.
And that's where like the individual play comes in, right? If Freeze doesn't actually manage to track down this Slark and get the Yule Scepter on him in time, he actually TPs out, then that fight probably looks okay for Final Tribe. They're like, all right, great. We actually managed to be part of a fight. We trade out, and it was on the enemy side of the map, so that probably means more space for this Slark to be able to farm up. Instead, he's dead for a while, and no real good item progression for him. He's now got an Ogre Axe trying to work towards an Echo Saber, but I mean, it's a good item, it's a good stat item, it's just not going to solve his problems, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's necessary to get something soon. Just the stats from it will be nice. Probably see a BKB right after, but definitely is not going to be a solution to this Bloodseeker problem. And where the Underlord's starting to not look amazing as a pick, it kind of was put into the draft as a counter pick to the Luna and to give them a strong off lane, but it's not the Luna who's been running over them. Luna's second on net worth just by farming jungle.
There goes the Rupture, and there goes the Dark Rift counterplay.
To pull them back, and they'll even go to their shrine so they can heal up and immediately transition into perhaps another fight. But now Ward's scouting them out here, so unlikely TFT able to achieve too much.
Meanwhile, Freeze can go ahead and push out this top lane. Bloodseeker is not the most traditional objective taker in the world, but if left alone, he does put out a lot of physical damage and can take some of these outer towers that are still remaining.
Yeah, it feels like VGJ Thunder happy just to, you know, have him at the front line slowly pushing these lanes because they welcome a fight right now. They feel a whole lot stronger. They've also got this Naga Siren as a reset tool. I know Final Tribe already used their Underlord ultimate, so if the fight's going badly for TFT, they can't just play that get out of jail free card, so it's like Final Tribe are going to play keep away and play on the opposite side of the map, recognizing that they just don't have the ability to fight right now.
Now, they didn't use Exorcism for the Tier 1. They're going to pop it now for the Tier 2. This is all about the double Siege Wagon effect from the Underlord and his Helmet Dominator that allowed them to take that Tier 1 so quickly. VGJ Thunder don't want to give away too many objectives. They're in the lead right now. Any gold that they give up to the Final Tribe hurts them considerably. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get in there to be able to defend that Tier 2. It goes down, and they will make an inefficient trade-off. They only got the Tier 1 offlane in exchange for the 2 for Final Tribe.
Yeah, it's really nice for Final Tribe. They managed to do that without the Underlord ultimate. Thunder just didn't have the tools, I guess, to defend it. I feel like with a Naga Siren sleep, you can very easily set up with a sleep and then TP in. Even though they slowly come through, you're going to be able to buy enough time for those TPs in. Perhaps someone's TP is just on cooldown because that felt like an unnecessary bad trade to be making.
DKB finally here for the Luna, so we could say that the Luna is online, fully ready to take on team fights. No longer as susceptible to the Slark as she once was.
The Dominator creep, plus 200 gold for Thunder. Always nice to be able to kill those off. Definitely seeing fewer helms because of the change.
I don't know about you guys, but this is like, this is the kind of game where I feel really good about Bloodseeker in that he's the 2 position behind a 1 position. I'm not a big fan of these Bloodseekers who are expected to carry out the game. Here, in this sort of game, he's a nice space creator, and he can go ahead and make this Luna even stronger with the Blood Rage a little bit later on to the game, because she's the true carry. Naga Siren Sleep goes out, holding in these heroes while they finish up the Roshan, and they're going to be able to set up the team fight. They instantly get the Ice Pass onto the Disruptor, the Primal Roar in the back lines, onto the Wind Ranger as well. Both the supports are easily going to get picked off. Final Tribe are thinking about, well, Yonosabata was thinking about maybe I stick around or something. Just activates the Dark Rift and heads over to that bottom shrine.
Very, very clean play from Thunder. Safely securing a Roshan, using their vision to give them a sleep setup. They didn't get the perfect team fight off of the sleep. If they fully committed to the fight instead of Roshan, they could have maybe gotten a 3-man Ice Path. But they understand what the important objectives are. It's Aegis first, team fight second, and they will set themselves up to look to poke at the high ground and just take full control of the map here. And Final Tribe's draft just, you know, they don't really team fight at this point. And to your point, I definitely agree. This is, it feels great to be a Bloodseeker when it's not on you to carry the game. You can look at your Luna and know this hero will win us the game. If she gets farmed enough, I'm going to run around, create space. I don't feel pressured to go for some item build that just doesn't feel that nice, like some kind of Radiant, Butterfly, SMY type thing. You can get these nice, useful, like team fighting survivable items.
Hey, when Blade Mail first, Yules now has a BKB and is thinking about a 4th mid-game item in the SNY. So he is just all in on this 35 minute period and just being as strong as possible.
And they recognize this is their timing right now. They've got the Aegis with the BKB ×2 on both their cores. Let's buy a gem. So they're going to completely shut down that Shadowblade initiation, and it very much is their key initiation. Frost, despite being a Slark, does not really have any kind of a Sand-King-esque hero on his team to lead the way for him. He's got to go running in. Either that or a Blink Shackle coming out from Pablo, but if he blinks in, he's very likely putting himself in a kind of precarious position.
And on top of that, you're going to be able to take away a lot of the Final Tribe vision. That vision being gone will make it harder for Final Tribe to be able to push out some of these side lanes, which is pretty much their win condition, right? Is Final Tribe just need to be able to draw out the game as much as possible, split push super heavily so they can finally get the Slark to that late game status where he can maybe be able to take out this Luna Bloodseeker duo.
I'm not convinced they have a better late game, but it definitely feels like their best bet is going to that late game. Right now they are much weaker in getting Slark a BKB at least, getting even Underlord a few more items. Death Prophet desperately needs some farm. That's key for them to stand a chance to fight, but they're going to be forced to defend here in the top lane.
I really like the fact that VGJ Thunder are going high ground right now. I feel like if we were watching another team like VG Gaming or something, they'd be like, let's control the game even more. But I think this sort of lineup, Luna, Bloodseeker, with these items, having Aegis, like I think you're hitting one of your biggest peaks. It's time to throw that weight around a little bit. Time to force Final Tribe to play a little defense and not just be all split pushing. See if they can force some enemy team, back inside their base. See if they can get some sort of team fight that allows them to go high ground.
And they force 4 heroes back. The Slark managed to stay off map and pushing the bottom lane, which is useful for him to be able to at least maintain some economy for the Final Tribe team, but it's not really enough, and a hero like Slark is not going to immediately force those rotations back because of the slow push coming out from him, so things will continue to look good for Thunder. Just pushing up there also allowed them to de-ward most of the vision from Final Tribe with that gem, so things will continue to look good for this Chinese squad here in game number 1.
Well, if they can draw out maybe another 5 minutes or so, not only will the Aegis have long faded by then, but Slark might be able to grab the Lincolns, which will help protect him against the Rupture.
The scary thing is, even 5 minutes from now, if that Aegis expires and you still have all your racks standing, it's probably not going to be a 12k gold lead at that point. It's probably 16, 17k.
Yeah.
VGJ Thunder just have more access to farm on the map. They are playing much more freely, whereas Final Tribe are playing grouped up with 4 heroes always grouped up, and then the Slark able to kind of play a little bit alone.
I haven't been the most optimistic about VGJ Thunder in the past, but I have to say, I have always been impressed by Fate. I think he's actually a great support. He's like he just looks surprisingly comfortable on a lot of these weirder supports. You know, like I wouldn't say Naga Siren is the go-to for most support players. Kunkka, his Kunkka play was very good as well. I really love, in this game, his item choice of the Blink Dagger, because now he can aggressively initiate with the song, setting up the Jakiro. Even later on when they have the Lincolns on the Sloric, they can still set up the Bloodright Ice Path on him. Initiation, top lane, they're going to be able to catch Hanskin. Meanwhile, Frost does try and go for Yank, but he's going to run out of his ultimate. He doesn't want to get caught by the Primal Roar. They had to throw down the Static Storm just to control the Beastmaster. DDC gets run out by Era, who's now ruptured up. Does have a Yule Scepter, protect himself from Bloodright. Doesn't throw it down, though. Now he's Primal Roar. He didn't use the Yule Scepter, and now he's just dead. Eclipse running down these heroes. Jonas Upon does not have the Dark Ribs to be able to save everybody here, so he's going to be ensnared out. Jumping forward, Fade looks for more heroes. With his Blink Dagger, he's going to be able to find Hanskin. Hoping to be able to stop that TP. He'll use the song to make sure it does go down. That's 4 dead from Final Tribe. All they got out of it was a Jakiro kill. Frost desperately pushing out mid lane.
Yeah, very odd decision to take a big team fight there. Perhaps thinking VGJ Thunder were more split up than they actually were, but Underlord, he used his ulti to get himself +1 into the fight. So they were like all in. They're like, let's go. This is our fight. Back in the game, Aegis expired, but it's not a game about the Aegis. It's a game at this point about the gold deficit and the team fight advantage that Thunder have. Their lineup is just way scarier with this Sleep, Jakiro combo, Luna and Bloodseeker both having BKBs. Meanwhile, Slark, he can't team fight. Even with the Lincolns, he doesn't. He could have gone BKB. It's not necessarily better than the Lincolns, but it's at least a team fighting item. If you're trying to take fights like that, you go BKB. If you're going Lincolns, you keep split pushing. But for some reason, they kind of deviated from the whole split pushing plan. And, well, needless to say, that fight goes horrifically for them.
Fortunately, because of, as we check out the replay real quick for that team fight, let's see. They seem to have some idea that this fight was going to be okay, but just starting off with Frost having to use his ultimate in the beginning of the fight and isn't going to be able to get a kill out of it, that is already the wrong step in a team fight.
At that point, Slark's out of the team fight. He can't offer anything because he can't re-engage with like a BKB. But at that point, you know, maybe he could go back in, but he has no interest in getting himself caught without his ultimate. Up to 15k gold lead now as Thunder maintain strong control over this game. MKB picked up on Luna, and they'll probably be eyeing off the next Roshan here.
Breeze could just throw out the complete SNY. Do you like that item, or do you think there's something else that... I mean, because he's got so much gold in the bank, and he's so strong right now.
SNY just seems like a nothing kind of item. Like, it's good, but it's not bad. It's not... let's say it's not good, but it's also not bad. It's like... But it's, I don't know. I don't think it needs
feels like you could get a scaling item now, you know?
Yes. Or, yeah, get something that just gives you, like, a bit more. Like an X Factor item. Like an Aghanim Scepter I would rather see than SMY. It gives you some similar survivability, but it gives you that something extra out of the item, which SMY just kind of doesn't do.
Yeah. I mean, Death Prophet also kind of relies on a bit of mobility, so rupturing her is not the worst thing in the world. Wind Ranger has some problems as well. So, being able to have those multiple instances. But there's the complete SNY being built out, and so he's just all in for this current play. Jonas Upon, he's dead. The rest of his team might be dead as well. The Primal Roar sneaking around from the Beastmaster is going to be able to catch both the core and the support together. Pablo's just throwing out power shots, but I mean, they keep on cutting the creep wave and everything, so they're actually preventing VGJ Thunder from going high ground multiple times, but finally, this will be the time where they've lost a team fight and they should be losing objectives.
Yeah, it looks like they will break through, as nothing Final Tribe can do about this one. Doesn't look like they're intending to GG out just yet, but this will definitely be the bottom lane of Raxen. They could even swing to the mid lane, still 20 seconds without Underlord or Death Prophet, and this time's pushing very fast. Meanwhile, Frost, you know, trying to do what he can to push out top, but you're not afraid of this Slark split push. We have not seen it.
Look how quickly they're taking this all down. They're like, all right, we're going to hold on to our buybacks.
Yeah.
Maybe lose Megas by the time this... Death Prophet just popped. Aaron just popped back with 7 seconds, but it's already dead. Megas is done. All right, Final Tribe is... they've got to be full tilted at this point.
Wow. I mean, I don't think... the buyback, I don't think you can even call that a big misplay. You've just lost the game. You buy back earlier, you're going to die, you're going to lose the fight. The game was probably just over before the buyback even happened. Once those last few kills happened, it was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. 33-minute megas.
Wow. What a showing. 15-0 on Freeze's Bloodseeker. Absolutely fantastic stuff from him.
Yeah, this guy is... a lot of people were getting excited about him early on in this season. He had definitely had some very star performances. And then VGJ Thunder started going a little bit downhill. Oh, Static Storm already placed out on Jaeger to try and kill him inside of the tiles to make sure the Primal War isn't a problem, but there's just too much damage coming out from Sylar. He's blowing off of these heroes left and right. The Yule Scepter is just a pittance for Era. He will survive a small amount of time, but he's still going to end up going down, and only Frost may be able to make it away, but now he's been Yule Sceptered up into the Blood Right, gets off the Dark Pack, doesn't make a damn difference. They call it GG. Game 1 has been VGJ Thunders for about 30 minutes, maybe even ever since the draft.
Yeah. What a convincing game from Thunder. Great to see Freeze step up. I think this team, since hitting some of those shaky times, have relied a lot more on Silo to kind of win them games. They played around him. This time, not the case. They put Silo in the hard carry, but it was Freeze who had to move around, create the space for him to activate